Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Wyzer. This is a brand new channel and I'm hoping to show you some good Planet Zoo content. My first video will be about this project, the Parc Zoologique d'Occitanie, or ZooDoc, as I will use it in shorthand. And I will first tell a little bit about the environment around the park, and then show you around and see where it's located and what you can do, and then we will end on some cinematics. So without further ado, let's go and start. Let's walk past the beautiful Rycie font here to visit the classroom that we're going to get in. I'm going to tell you a little bit about this project. This project is a sort of replication of the zoo of Montpellier in the south of France. You can see it there. It's in the south where the red dot is. Paris is the black dot, and they eat baguettes. The zoo of Montpellier is quite a big zoo. Montpellier is quite a big city, 500,000 inhabitants. They have a huge Amazonian glass house, the Serre Amazonienne, which will be a big part of this build as well. The interesting thing of this park is that it's part zoo and it's part nature reserve. So you will see it's very zooey on the beginning, and then it will sort of descend into a forest area with long winding paths and an occasional habitat. Which also means that it will be very hard to build in the game because we don't have that much space here. So it's not a one-on-one recreation like, for example, JustGoron is doing for the Dutch park Beekse Bergen. It's more of an approximation. I have to cut some corners somewhere because otherwise it will be just stretches of pine forest without much to see. So I'll cut out stuff here and there. Yeah, I'm very excited about this project, and I'm looking forward to show you. So let's get out of this classroom and into the real zoo area. So here we are on a very French highway. You can see here there's some nice wine fields. There's a wine being harvested there by a nice wine harvester. And this is a bit of the area where we're in, south of France, quite dry in summer. So let's go for a ride. Let's take the exit here. Don't do that like that when you're driving, kids. So let's see, the park is the first exit, then some very other interesting destinations there, but that's not where we go right here. And other directions, the last one. As a kid, I always thought that it was a very big city, autre direction, because it was on every sign in France, but apparently it just means other directions. So let's turn. Here we have another view of the vineyards and the nice house that goes with. This house is based on a real winery. It's called Mas du Novi in France, in a village called Montagnac, or in between Montagnac and Villeriac. And it's a very nice winery. It's a bit farther from the highway than in this build, but it's a very nice area. It's more flat than here as well, but they have some very good wines. And actually close by, they managed to dig up some dinosaur eggs from the winery. So that's a very interesting place. If we continue, just a very French roundabout. So many of those. Nice gate, and here we have more wine fields. This is a very nice tractor. It was provided by Franz9810 and it was made especially for this project, so I'm very grateful for that. And the Angry Archer by Mr. Domez is also very pleased to have a ride on that. Let's continue the roundabout. And yeah, there's the sign. We need to turn here up, and we enter the Frenchy suburbs. Some more apartment style buildings here. Very generic like you see a lot in that area. These buildings are actually quite close to the zoo as well. Very weird television antennas they have here. Didn't know really what they were aiming for with that gutter going there, but that's the way it is, so that's how I replicated it. Side here I've built a more suburb style French house. Have a look through the gate if you want. Very peaceful. You see lots of these outside Montpellier. That's very, in all the commuter towns there are oh, some Z fighting. There are a lot of these houses. Nice herb garden, some Provençal herbs, some thyme, some rosemary. Very nice. You can play some pétanque. And a nice game here. Drink a glass of rosé. Very nice. Pool in the backyard. So very nice places to live. Let's head back to the main road. And continue towards the zoo. You already see there in the background, it's the Amazon house. It's quite a striking visual there. There's lots of little parking lots in and around, but they tend to be very full. People parked on the side. Let me take this one here. This is an exit of the real parking lot. This is a little bit of a view on the greenhouse. Road signs are from the PaulsLey road sign category, and all the signs here, like the triangle here, are from Chiefnadia's Dutch road signs. I co-opted them to be a little bit more French, but they're great. You can find them on the website and in the description below. Let's continue. We continue past the main square, but that will end up there. Another great sign. And people, will they cross here? Yeah, they will. So well behaved. Yeah, we can continue. Oh, here people are coming straight on the road. This is the bus that was is on the workshop by Cool, but I've tweaked it a little bit, so it's a little bit more generic, and it looks like the TAM buses, the bus company that's in Montpellier. Quite happy how that came out. And you see this big dry stone wall, which is around the whole of the zoo. Since it's a big park, and they sort of want to restrict visitors, there's a big wall around it. But there's fire exits everywhere. You can see here it's a very dry, pine woody area, so there's quite a fire hazard, and they keep all the fire exits here. So here we have a small bin, very European. Unfortunately, you cannot put the real Planet Zoo bins in there, but it's nice. Oh, somebody put the manual cover in the wrong way there. It's a shame. And here's a little bus stop for the zoo. I think we have to turn around here to get to the parking lot. Wait for those people to pass by, and then we can drive up onto the parking lot. And this is a very French tourist attraction style for me. Let's park a car here for a bit. Right. So you see those big white stones. These are actually the snow pieces, but they look like those white painted rocks they tend to have in these big parking places. And yeah, it's for me it feels very south of France. You can just smell the dust and the sunscreen and the cheap French diesel cars, and just screams holiday to me. And you can see already the kind of area we're in. There's lots of pine trees. These tend to be Aleppo pines in this area, and mixed with some oaks and some more herby scrubs like rosemary and thyme. And you can also just hear the sounds here. I'll shut up for a minute. And that's how it sounds here, with all the cicadas that are in the trees. All the cars here are by Cool Dog, They can be found on the workshop. They're very cool. They can be repainted, some of them. Yeah, there's, I think everybody uses them. Where should we go? We can take a path here. Go a little bit back to where we were. And see, have another look at the bus. And cross the zebra where we were. And then we come on the entrance square of the zoo. You can see here the logo of the zoo. Actually, when I came here, it was under renovation, so this was all covered. So I don't know if it's still going to look like that when they're done. There's a nice little bike shed there. You see, there's a lot of height difference in the square, which was quite a pain to make. And here we have the Amazonian greenhouse. And with a little aviary sticking out. We'll have a look at that later. I call this square Z Fighting Square because it was such a pain to make with all the little height differences. Let's continue. Let's go and join the people to buy a ticket. So another bin. Here's the office. Just a very simple office where you can buy a ticket, and there's a small copying machine. They're all by Halycon Chris from his office set. It's a great little set. So the best thing about this zoo is that the whole park is free. It's basically a public park. You only need to buy a ticket for the greenhouse, but for the rest it's free. So if you work in the neighborhood, you can just come in and have some lunch. And that's great. You can just look at the animals and eat your baguette and then go again without having to pay. So that's a great service by the Montpellier community. Here's a small building. There's a toilet here and a gift shop. Normally, I couldn't go in March because it was closed for COVID. There's not many pictures available, so this is a little bit of a fantasy area right now. There's some plushies here. That's the little toucans from Tharmachati, which are built by Iben, and some other plushies made by KeyboardKeeper. And just a very bare gift shop. Once I be able to go back and see how it's like now, I can look how it really is and add some more detail. Then here we have a small restaurant inside the Amazonian house. It's called Au Gourmand, and you see there I made a small logo for it. This is a custom font, which I will probably show off in a future episode. Actually, I want to make it a little bit smaller. These are made with art pieces, but I think that the new rod pieces from the Australia pack will be great to really make this a little bit smaller, especially here the signs of the L and the G. Those could be a lot smaller with little rod pieces, so that's something to improve upon in the future. When you turn around, you see here a little overview. This is a little kind of warning zone and sign, so you cannot bike in the park. You should watch out where you fall. No dogs allowed. Don't litter. Don't smoke. Don't play football. Don't throw things at the animals, and be quiet. Which all speaks for itself. This is a little map of the zoo. We are here next to the central square, so here's the Amazon house next to it. And basically, there are several different trails you can make. This is a trail which is more about sort of Mediterranean, northern Maghrebi, northern African animals, which ends here in an Iberian wolf area. Then this is a more of an mixed trail with like large cheetah hatchery here, and some kangaroos and emus, and will end in some bear enclosure. And this is a more African trail. There's a lemur house here, and there will be some giraffes and nice rhinoceros enclosure here, and it will end in an Asian swamp area. Here in the middle are a lot more savanna style exhibits, and the brown walk is a big walk through the forest, the real protected forest is the dark pink area here. It's a very mixed kind of trails which you can do. So you can either pick one and go back, or you can just do like a small walk. I think it's like 40,000 square meter total of park, so it's really a lot to explore. Then normally here there's a little overview of the exotic animals that live there, local animals, and a little overview of the history of the park. I'll show a little side by side how it's in real life and how I've tried to recreate it. And here at the back of this building there's a little exhibit for some parrots, some green aras, and I just used the plushies from the Tharmachati pack from Iben. They'll do, it's fine. Cannot really get people to look at these exhibits, but yeah, I'm very happy how this turned out. And it's a small little aviary. And over here we have the first exhibit. These are some llamas. In real life they are the Vigoga, so the Vigunias, but they live in a very similar exhibit. Lots of small rocks, and they live in a small group where they can eat. You can see it's all the gabardine walls with a lot of green covering, so you don't really look at the walls too much. Blends in with the background. I think it's very well done. It makes it very green. And you can see the whole park is basically in this grove of oak and pine trees. So a lot of the exhibits will look the same, especially in the savannah area. It's going to be a lot of exhibits like this. But it makes it sort of nice as well, because there's a sort of style. People walking straight into the barrier here, as normal with this game. And over here you will go into the trail towards the Iberian wolf, but something we will do in a later episode. Here at the back there's a other little sign. It tells you how many animals there are in the zoo. It also tells you how big it is, the surface, and how many tons of food the animals eat each day. And there's a nice small group photo. I'll also zoom out and show how this sign turned out in comparison with the real life one. I'm also pretty happy how this worked out, especially with the little animal figures on top. They're slightly too big, but definitely worked. So here further at the exit we have some turnstiles. These are already on the workshop and they're quite popular, so I'll include another link in the video description. In the future I might also update these, because they're using the little metal fence pieces, and I don't know, maybe it could be improved by the little Australian rods, but yeah, I'm not sure. I'll have a think about that. So let's trail back through the gift shop where people are walking to the floor, because the toilet buildings are too big to fit in this building, so I needed to put them a little bit in the floor. So there you go. And then we have another view of the Amazonian house and the green wall. I basically copied the green wall from Zoofluencer's building that he made in Zoosley, the Reptile house. I will include a link to that video as well in my description. Added a few more plants to make it a little bit more yellow, because that's what it needs to be in this kind of dry environment. We'll do the Amazon house another day. You can have a little sneak peek over here. It still needs some work, so we'll maybe next episode we'll do that. What you already can see is a little exhibit for some scarlet ibises here. It's an outside aviary, but it's a walk-in exhibit that you can enter from the Amazon house, and then you walk through this little aviary with a few ibises. There's one on top there as well, and there are also some other birds. There's a Brazilian teal lurking here somewhere in the background. There it is. These birds have been very inspired by birds released by Mealie and Drac on the workshop. I will provide links to those as well. and I'll see if I can put this one on the workshop as well. It gives a little extra flavor to it. Here's a little sign, see where they live in the Amazon, just some information. I used the trick that Mike Sheets used in his Koali episode to use the ice pieces here as water, because I couldn't really be bothered dealing with the water system here in this exhibit. So that is the Scarlet Ibis exhibit. You can see people walking in. It's like a walkthrough exhibit when you come from the Amazon house. Let's continue. There's a nice door for access to the Amazon house there. And let's look at the other exhibit that kind of bleeds from the Amazon house, which is a small monkey island. See if there's any ones around. Yeah, there comes a little one and another one. Ah, perfect, guys. So yeah, they have this small island here where they can play with their enrichment, and where all their food and drinks are inside, so they can just pop up there. I'm really happy how this turned out. It's a great exhibit in real life because the monkeys have a lot of privacy, so you really have to look for them. But occasionally you see them hopping across that branch there. It's really nice. I've put the capuchin monkeys in here. In the real zoo, it's howler monkeys, and I think some other spider monkeys as well. But since this is the Latin American monkey that we, South American monkey that we have to deal with, I put in the capuchins. But they seem to be very happy, and they go back and forth a lot. So yeah, very nice. So that's it for now. I hope to see you. Said Rycie, I think so. I hope to see you soon in a future episode. Probably we'll tackle the Amazon house then. Not sure what I will do after. I think I will go for the Lima house. It's just a very interesting building. So thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you on the next video.